Hey everyone, this is Bryan Setser. For the past few weeks, we've been writing about our work with artificial intelligence and the jobs to be done for educators. We had a very interesting request from High Point University recently to talk about the future of instructional supervision. Can AI sort of enhance these educational leadership roles? And so taking you in this week to a little bit of the skunk works of GammaApp, which we've shared over the past few presentations and e-letters that we've done, where I considered that question. I partnered with AI to develop some strategies and scenarios that fit with my career in instructional leadership. And, we talked to High Point University leaders who are in these roles around instructional supervision. So as you go over to the Loom this week and you think about using some of these techniques around the jobs to be done for instructional leaders, we wanted to link them to my LinkedIn page on the home page so they could go and see some of the things we've been writing about, and also link them to our website so after the presentation they could go and see some of the things that we've been providing, like our free coursework in AI. And getting a certificate in using AI in the workplaces, I think, is absolutely critical for anybody right now. But you'll notice in the GammaApp, we've got sort of a menu on the left of slides that were created for the event. And then on the right, we have some ways to edit that, right? So we can go over and, click on the AI feature and use some of the AI edits inside of Gamma to make the presentation better. We can do different things with the images. We can spend some different approaches on the layout. All of this is AI enabled on the right side. We can insert different types of charts and diagrams. This is very effective in managing presentations and how you might utilize some of the tools to go through and help people do the work. Now, one of the things that we shared was a website. So, Gamma app allows you to share in a presentation, a website, or, a document. And so in this instance, made the point to the group that we have a purpose for the presentation. We're going to focus tonight's work on the jobs to be done for instructional leaders and in supervisory practices, and to really prepare them for the evolving world of AI. I made a comment in the presentation about this picture. When you ask AI to create pictures with AI and students working together, you'll notice some of the choices it makes, like putting the students in rows. That's not a best practice anymore, and we want to put students in collaborative teams like they would want to be working in the world of work or the world of nonprofits or the world of donating their time to sit across from people and also have a way to choose when they needed to work independently at another corner or station of the room. But you can see that a robot's involved, technology's involved, and you can look at the dynamics of some kids engaged, some kids not so much. And that's always going to be the job of instructors, to really connect and bring the art form of human connection to the work. We spent some time putting the groups last night in roles that they might play. In this first one, we wanted them to read an e-letter that we had written designing with AI with a charter school network in Florida, and gave them time to go through, sort of look at AI in education currently, how some of the practices we've been teaching on site enhance supervision, and then addressing some of the concerns they may have. So live on the webinar, they went through and read that article, shared some of their key takeaways both in the chat and over the microphone. I think you want to nest a lot of the work when you're dealing with instructional leaders in what's in it for them, what's the value add, what's the benefit, why would they need to do this. So they're all charged with increasing feedback about lesson observation, figuring out ways to manage the paperwork, to analyze data. Instructional leaders are often looking at ways to align curriculum work. When I was at the district level, we would have summer retreats for scope and sequence and essential standards and important standards, nice to know standards. And all of that was generated by research on the internet, out of textbooks, and then, of course, writing everything out by hand. You don't have to do that anymore, and you can align scope and sequence in ways by asking, free AI tools ranging from ChatGPT to Perplexity AI, which we used here, and also Claude or Gemini or Copilot, and you can really get at some initial ways to do this work. So we asked the group to go away and break out during the webinar and choose one of these areas and to utilize the tiny URL that we had on roles that an instructional designer might play, like act as an instructional coach, create an outline of a presentation, then drop that presentation into something like GammaApp or Beautiful AI to communicate that to stakeholders. And everybody went out and then came back and shared what they had created, and we asked them, what was missing, what they might put in their own context, how they might share that communication strategy with somebody else, and then add to it. And this is just one of the ways that you can start to get people using the power of AI. In this week's e-letter, we'll show you some of these tiny URL links visually, and you can go and grab them and use that in your own work. They also had the opportunity to enhance professional development and work across 2 prompts, go away in the breakout session, and then come back and talk about the value add of personalizing learning paths for people to improve their capacity. Think about this with PIPs or personal growth plans or individual growth plans, and then virtual coaching that helped inform communication and messaging from the principal's office. Let's say that you're involved in the science of reading and you're also learning about that as a principal instructional leadership role. Well, you now have something to communicate out best practices, conceived or developed by AI. And whether you're using ChatGPT or whether you're using one of the other tools, your job as the human is to, trust, but also verify and make sure that contextually those resources are right to work with someone in your district office where you're not having a brainstorm about it. You're sending the science of reading approaches. They're validating that through their state work really quickly, but they're not helping you brainstorm all of the possible directions. You're going into that meeting with them with a route to really improve instructional leadership and then make it better with your humanity. We also spent a lot of time talking about data and how one of the greatest challenges with predictive analytics, equity and supervision, or real-time insights is how you visualize that. And, when we were over on GammaApp earlier with the charts and the diagrams, figuring out ways to use iconography, figuring out ways to bring charts together. You can use something here like a Gantt chart, right, to show project management. You can, insert different pie charts that you might want, or you can look at icons with text to make a visual point. A lot of times when we're representing data, that's one of the challenges, is making meaning or getting people to understand it. We also gave them some real world examples in AI as a leave behind, like to check out what Chicago Public Schools has done around the entire district work. Always a fan of the work at Getting Smart and going in and looking at their AI stories and taxonomies so people can go on digital storytelling hunts and really figure out what's best in their context. Success Academy in New York City has long been someone we've held up as a great place to visit and learn from. Their scores over the last decade are unbelievable. They do an apprenticeship program with aspirant teachers, and they're moving into this world now of AI during instructional coaching loops. Looking at the feedback that the person might have as raw notes or recorded, AI, and then putting that into a taxonomy of asking, you know, the AI to now play the role as a feedback coach, and what kind of strategies would they present? Where have they pulled these strategies from? What are some of the citations that teachers can go and more deeply read about how to improve their craft? Finally, we had an interactive AI discussion at the end of the time together around challenges, opportunities, and some of the ethical considerations in AI. And I think that, that was a very lively discussion of, how might we, what kind of things do we need to learn in North Carolina, which was the High Point University case. And North Carolina is one of like 11 states now that has provided very specific guidance on how to move forward with AI. What I really want people to get from this Loom and also the e-letter this week is, conclusions and key takeaways. That if you go to places like AI for Education or Setser Group's free course material, you can really start to understand the why, what, and how behind instructional leaders using AI. And then, you can quickly get to some of your hopes for its uses in the future. You can have remedies for some of the fears and doubts through policy reform and some of the resources that we provide. But most importantly, this work can automate and enhance instructional supervision tasks. It can improve efficiency and outcomes, and it helps you to stay informed and integrate AI into your future leadership roles. So hopefully these 10-minute Looms and e-letters are helpful for instructional leaders out there who really want to make a difference in their work and amplify their expertise with AI. Thank you.